Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV. Delighted to have your company this evening. The main talking points: Stefan Johansson is not for sale, according to Celtic manager Ronnie Deila. Alan Stubbs is hoping Anthony Stokes can boost their title challenge. Hamilton Accies chairman Les Gray is standing by the manager Martin Canning, and the St Mirren supporters group is hoping to buy a controlling interest in the club. That's just a few of the talking points we have on the agenda tonight. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Our bookroom guest, as ever, Thursday evening is Hugh MacDonald of the Herald, and delighted to have him with us. There's so much to talk about tonight, so let's crash on. Stefan Johansson is not for sale. There was a story, £5 million, possibly Aston Villa, and the manager's not having any of it, Hugh.
I just wonder if somebody else in the club might have some of it, though, and that might be more influential. I think not at the moment. Celtic don't and won't sell, I don't think, big time in the January window. But come summer, part of the plan and part of the business plan is they have to get, players off the books at good prices, and I think that Johansson's one that could go.
Yeah, Lubin Krapulja is a Croat that they're looking at the moment. He's in there, Ruffy. So clearly Celtic are starting to really look at bolstering this squad for the second half of the season.
Yeah, another young player, and there's been 2 or 3 in our trials, but left very, very quickly. So they're seeing it first hand rather than going by videos and all that carry on. So yeah, it remains to be seen whether they see if he's better than what they've got. On the Johansson one, I think with the season that he's had, if somebody was to offer in the region, I wouldn't be surprised if they take it.
Yeah. Also, Ronnie Deila speaking to the press today mentioned Anthony Stokes again still. He's adamant he has a future at Celtic, and also that he hopes he scores a lot of goals for Hibernian, because, as you know, Ruffy, he's joined Hibernian on loan.
Yes, he certainly has, and I'm very pleased with that signing. I didn't think it was going to happen, but yep. But again, he's got to prove his worth. There's been lots of players with high expectations going to clubs and not materialising. Hibs will be hoping that he's been out of the game for a wee while. They'll be hoping that he can kick in really quickly because they need him immediately.
Okay, yeah, assess the significance of him signing for Hibs, Hugh.
I think Stokes, if you strip him from all the baggage and you just look at the stats, Stokes is a goal scorer. He's done it everywhere he's been. Certainly in Scotland element of his career, I think he's a great buy, a great loan for Hibs. I think it's a no-brainer from him.
Yeah. Do you see him in the twosome? We were talking about it the other night there, alongside Jason Cummings.
You would like to think so, but modern managers don't seem to like that. They like to play with, one up top. I could see him be the one up top and maybe Cummings coming in from a flying position.
Yeah.
Because managers 4-4-2 seems to have gone the way of my hair. It's just nobody does it anymore.
Yeah.
So, but I can certainly see him playing right up top because he has got good technical ability as well. Stokes. I mean, a lot of the stuff around about Stokes is opera around Stokes forgets the fact that he does score goals.
Yep, I'm with you on that, Hugh. I'd like to see Ruffy, 2 strikers brought back, much like Hugh's hair as well. I want to see that back too.
I haven't seen Hugh's hair. I haven't seen it when it was there, so I'm quite happy with the way it is. We'll have to get photos.
Yeah,
you
absolutely. We need photographs.
Photographs.
Okay. The other point here that I want to get your thoughts on is. We were talking to John Robertson last night about the situation with Martin Canning, 1 win in 15 games. Now, I did pose the question that if you are the Hamilton Accies board, you've got maybe 3 options on this. You back him and get players in to help him because there are serious problems at the back, or you get an experienced person in maybe to help him, or you cut the cord and look for a new manager. Now, knowing the board as I do, and I've got a lot of time for Les Gray, he's not giving him a vote of confidence. He just says if we go down, he's still going to be the man there.
Well, there's a lot to be, admired in that attitude. I mean, what Hamilton are trying to do is have a template where they bring through players, they're content with their manager, they've got the business set up and they're just going to keep on it. And they're not going to be buffeted by form or losses or even relegation. But that's all right in theory. I'm just wondering if it goes on and on, will their minds change? There seems no chance in that. I mean, I think all the kind of vibe I'm getting from Hamilton all the time, and even talking to guys in the club, is it not? Canning's under, no real pressure at all.
No, because I think the remit, like all managers get, is to stay in the division. He's still there. He's still in a relatively healthy position. Yeah. If he continues to have that gap, and I'm like Hugh. I've spoken to the owners as well, and they're quite happy with everything they do. And even they went down a division, they said they wouldn't change. They would keep bringing the academy players through and keep going down that road. And it's interesting that Martin is possibly putting himself back into the firing line. He's training this week, and he's now going to try and play to help out the team, and that says a lot about the guy.
Yeah, full marks to him, and of course he's a good defender, and he's perhaps the solid defender they need at the back. So full marks to the board, they're sticking by him. Other news, Hugh, before we get on to some of the other stories of players coming and going, I want to get your thoughts on East Kilbride. I think it's a fantastic story. 2-0 win, and now they've got a tie against Celtic, obviously at a bigger ground.
Yeah, and it just changes the whole setup of East Kilbride completely. I mean, that's just not one game, big game, a bit of money. That is now budgets for 5-10 years. That will change the club, dramatically in the short term. And I'm always I'm the old cynical journalist, and the romance of the cup usually doesn't mean much to me, but that is what the cup's all about. That clubs from the lower echelons of Scottish football, as it were, can get a few quid. Yeah,
I think they're doing the right thing, Ruffy. You want to see them take it to a bigger ground. You want to see lots of fans there. I'm amazed they've decided to take it to the Maracanã in Brazil, but nevertheless, we've got to back them on it. Get the fans in there. They'll enjoy it. It'll be a day to remember. And East Kilbride, I think it's fair to say, Ruffy, in my mind, are a club that are just going up and up and up, and I don't think it'll be too long in the future where we see them as a professional club in every sense of the word.
Yeah, they're following on with the Edinburgh clubs like Spartans. They're following on. They've got a great academy behind them. They've got the structure all in place, and as Hugh says, just games like that just come along and just bond everybody together. I'm surprised they never went to a bigger stadium, because obviously Celtic fans will want to come out in numbers to see that one.
Yeah.
I think as well, though, Hamilton's quite near for them, and they'll fancy, well, not fancy the AstroTurf, but they'll think, playing on 3G rather than playing on grass might give them, a slight edge, or, might unnerve Celtic a slight bit. But having said that, I don't think there's many people who think there'll be many problems for Celtic in that, but great day for East Kilbride.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try and keep the first half of the programme as optimistic as I possibly can, Hugh, before the second half of the programme is all about flares, smoke bombs, people arguing, and of course people calling for change. We'll also talk about Gordon Strachan, Stuart Regan and Brian McClare in the next part. What do you make of St Mirren, the supporters group, now trying to get a controlling interest? I think this could be the best avenue, because the board have been waiting for somebody to come in and buy them forever and a day, and it hasn't happened.
Exactly. That club's been up for sale for years, and there's been various bids that have come in, or not bids, but interests that have come in and haven't been fulfilled. I think the fans route is a great route forward for Scottish football, because I honestly think that community model is where Scottish football is going to survive, because in the big, wider commercial world, we're shrinking to an irrelevance, and I think the fans on board and making what these clubs should be part of the community is the way forward. Yeah,
I tend to agree to an extent. I like to see fans involved have a major say in their club, Ruffy, but I still think clubs with the ultimate ambition have to have major backers in there who are in overall control of it. By all means, have a percentage for fans. But I think the bigger clubs, you need somebody who's there, who's holding the rudder and knows exactly how to drive it through in a business sense. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we all want to see fans being associated with clubs at some level. Again, it's how big a level. I would think you're saying that man want part ownership. I would think you need full ownership to get the decisions made, because they want a controlling interest.
Well, I mean, that's not. Well, I don't think it's going to happen as long as there's people there putting other money in, because they'll be wanting to make decisions as well.
Because that old fan ownership thing, it's really held Barca back, hasn't it? And they've been able to They've not been able to do much over the years, have they, Peter?
Only a journalist like yourself could spin that in such a way to equate the mass support of St Mirren to the millions following Barcelona. No disrespect to St Mirren. I wish you had millions following you, but you don't. It's as simple as that. But nice line from you anyway to try and prove a point. You can give us your view on it at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter, facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy, and of course go on to peterandruffy.com and you'll be able to read more about that story. Hugh MacDonald is our Bootroom guest. Delighted to have him with us. He'll be trying to annoy us in the second part of the programme, so stick with us for that as well. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Don't forget, on a Saturday afternoon, if you can't get out to a match, and we implore you as often as possible to get out there and support Scottish football, but if you can't make it, join us on STV Edinburgh and STV Glasgow at 2 o'clock, and we'll take you through the entire afternoon of goals hitting the back of the net, opinion, and more than a bit of fun over the 4 hours in the company of Alan Ruff, Gordon Smith, and Murdo MacLeod this Saturday afternoon. So, into the more meaty stories that are doing the rounds. Now, Stuart Regan, the SFA Chief Executive, Gordon Strachan and Brian McClare met the First Minister, presented her with a lovely pink shirt with sturgeon on the back of it. She's going to play left half because we have a plethora of midfielders who can do a running for her. But the main point, I think, of their PR exercise today was to highlight this plan that they've got, Hugh, this vision of how we can get more and more kids back out playing football. A revamp of the academy system, having the number of age bands so that you don't have just people filling jerseys. And of course this US-style draft system to loan out players to the divisions below. It gives younger players that chance to get competitive football at some level. And of course they want actually more of the $2 million investments spent on outcomes rather than ticking boxes, which, as we all know, some people actually just do something because they know they're going to get a grant for it.
Exactly, and there's a whole industry around that. You know, the people can get paid very well for being good form fillers because they can meet things. I'm very loath at the moment to criticise anything that people are coming up with to help Scottish football, because it's in that. I really believe that we're in a position now where there's a tipping point, and we really have to know where we're going and how we're going to try and get there. And taking away all the face recognition stuff that has dominated the headlines this week, and the shuffling about whether of 16-12, with what I call SPFL bingo, many leagues. The important point is we have to have more kids playing football so that more kids come through.
Yeah.
And I'm all for guys like Strachan and Regan and going to and McClare going there to the First Minister and trying to improve that. But there has to be some things like, at one point, we're talking about revamping the academies, slowing the academies down. At one point, the people in charge of Scottish football thought that was the way forward, So it's really, really difficult. It's really difficult, but I will say, I just hope and pray that, that we're at least marching in the right direction.
Yeah, well, at least you've got figureheads there, players who've played the game, who are now managers, and of course McClare's got a good reputation. Gordon Strachan, I think, has got the country behind him as well. Ruffy, I mean, it's exactly what Hugh says there. We look and we look at other people's systems, and then we think, oh, they've got the way ahead, so we'll embrace it, hook, line and sinker. Anything from Gerard Houllier to Rinus Michels, we buy into it, big style. But with this plan, first of all, do you buy into the US-style draft system, where players and younger players are actually going to get competitive football in a loan system, if they embrace it?
I thought we were doing that now anyway. I think if you ask Celtic and Rangers, they have got players farmed out all over the place, East Fife, Queen of the South, so we are doing that one. But there are other things, as you said, you're not going to get everything, but the two biggest things for me is summer football and better facilities. I mean, it's so common sense. If you don't have the facilities for these kids that we're talking about to play football, they're not going to play football. So let's make it easier for them to play. I mean, try and work something out that we're not doing it in the winter months when nobody's going to games and kids aren't going to go out and kick a ball when it's snowing or sleet or rain or whatever. So for me, the two priorities are facilities and make summer football.
Okay. Do you disagree with that, Hugh?
No, I think the summer football one's interesting because I think the Scottish, I think in other areas as well, commercially even, and marketing, Scottish football could fill a wee niche in there. You could imagine that in in every sort of non-major finals year, that the Scottish football rights might become slightly more
appealing,
attractive to broadcasters. I don't know. Summer football is an interesting one, but I agree totally with facilities.
Yeah, of course, I hate to throw a spanner in the works, but this has been the warmest 2015 in history, with that 1% increase and the change in the atmosphere. Summer football in Scotland could start probably in late October and carry all the way through.
Global warming.
By the time we get the changes implemented.
I'll not see that.
Yeah, exactly. Just a wee bit of politics there.
I'll see that again.
So let's crack on before we get
Sliding
in trouble.
tackle.
Yes, absolutely, as ever. Now, you've taken me off my track. I was going to talk about something which was going to get your thoughts on. Yes, Mark Warburton at Rangers. I'm going to start getting your thoughts before we talk about Aberdeen Dundee. A couple of little bits of player movement. Obviously, Michael O'Halloran back in the St Johnstone squad. The deal hasn't happened yet. This is Mark Warburton's take on Rangers paying for any player over the odds.
I think it's really important that as a club we do our homework first, determine what we think is the right valuation. That's key. We could be wrong, but we determine what we think is the right valuation, stick to that. And if there's some small flexibility, maybe that's up to the board and the owner, of course. But I think it's really important to know your market, recognise what represents value, and then make your move. If you can find the value, then great. But if not, don't be panicked into buying something which is too expensive. We're not looking for players just to get us through the next 5 months, and that's a pointless exercise. Short-term fixes won't help Rangers Football Club. So we're looking for players who can, of course, come in, adapt to the demands that we place upon them, and embrace those demands, but then obviously prepare for next season as well at a higher level, hopefully.
So the Rangers manager, if the club are going to make a signing, Ruffy, he wants it to be a long-term prospect that can make the jump Championship into the Premiership as well, and they're not certainly going to up the price for any club that thinks let's just say Michael O'Halloran. St Johnstone want 500,000, Rangers have offered 150.
Well, that's what I would say to him. Does he honestly think that Michael O'Halloran's a £150,000 player? That would be the question I would ask them. They're actually trying to get him cheaper than what St Johnstone value him. I think St Johnstone value him at the right price. And as far as I'm concerned, it's Rangers that aren't coming up with the goods.
Well, I'm going to counter that by suggesting to you that sometimes somewhere in the middle is where the right valuation is. So sometimes you get a situation where you're backing St Johnstone saying he's a £500,000 player, Rangers think 150, and usually it meets somewhere around about 350.
Yeah, but that, as Alan says, though, it's interesting because what he's saying is that the price is the price.
Yeah.
And he says the board have some wiggle room, he says, but we put a valuation. Now, if Rangers go from 150 to 350, I would suggest that's an awful lot of wiggle room.
Yeah.
I'm
just playing devil's advocate. I'm not suggesting it.
I just think it's an awful lot of wiggle room. I think that is an incredible statement and a really great statement of where Rangers should be. I think it's a sensible statement saying that, because everybody will talk about, David Murray, 10, they spend a 5 or, we'll spend a 10. That's a complete repudiation of that. But more contemporary than that, it's a complete repudiation of the way Rangers started in the, from the lower divisions again, which was madness.
Yes.
Which was madness. So first time there's a sign of sanity at least coming from Rangers press conferences on signings.
Okay, quick ones on a couple of players' movements that have surprised us before we get your thoughts on Aberdeen Dundee. Ryan McGowan sold to Chinese club Henan Yanya for £385,000. I didn't see that one coming.
Absolutely not, but I could see as soon as it was coming, I could see it being accepted.
Yeah.
The boards are getting cleared there, aren't they?
Yeah.
The boards are getting cleared.
I think it could be the watershed at the weekend, Ruffy.
Yeah, well, if I was in the D United dressing room, I'd be asking Ryan McGowan if they're looking for any other players in China.
Yeah, but if they don't win at the weekend.
They don't win at the weekend.
Yeah. Also, I think a guy we've had on the programme on more than a few occasions, always good to talk to him, Barry Douglas. He's won the title with Lech Poznan a couple of times, and now he's on his way to Turku Konyaspor on a 3.5-year deal. So he's doing well, Barry. He's just scouring places that you wouldn't think and earning a good living.
And what a way to increase your kind of life skills and your life experiences, you know. I mean, we saw Darren Adee doing the same thing. Away to India, coming back, he might go back to India. But it's a great way to get a few bob and see a bit of the world. So good on him.
Yeah, absolutely. We've suggested on countless occasions, let's do this show from Florida. Yeah. Let's expand our grasp of football across the globe. Who's going to win, Aberdeen or Dundee on Friday night?
Aberdeen for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Aberdeen as well, but I think it'll be difficult. And I think the result on Sunday for Aberdeen was hugely important, because that was a game they looked at losing at one point, and they could have ended up drawing. 6
points the difference, Robbie. Are they still in the mix? Can they still pressure Celtic?
Yeah, I think they can, as long as they keep winning. And you have to hope that the players are up for it, and I'm sure they will be if it's anything to do with the weekend there.
Okay, well, that's it. We've crammed in as much as we possibly can. Ruffy's got his jumper on. He's not worrying about global warming. Hugh and myself, we're at peace with ourselves. We know the temperature's changing and it's going to hot up at the weekend. Hopefully you can join us. Thanks for watching.